This is News Today. Thanks for your company. Now, the Food and Drugs Authority says it's stepping up its activities to ensure food prepared and sold within the country meets the required standards of food safety. According to a senior regulatory officer at the Food and Safety Department, the periodic premises assessment and public education will be intensified to ensure food vendors adhere to the acceptable standards.
Foods and beverages prepared and sold on streets and other public places more often than not serve as a source of inexpensive, convenient and often nutritious food for both the young and old. Despite the numerous benefits provided to people, street-vended foods can also be a source of foodborne illnesses, resulting from poor hygienic practices by vendors and insanitary conditions at food vending points, among others. With a day-to-day increase in the number of food vendors across the city, it is unclear if such activities are being checked by the Food and Drugs Authority.
The Food Establishment Unit registers premises that produce, pastry products. And remember, we are talking about establishment. These are facilities that has, probably some level of facilities that can produce large quantities of pastries. However, if you go to the streets, you would also see smallholder, street vendors who are also, vending their pastry products. For them, they do not have a well-established facility. And so what we do is we have a public education unit that also give, periodically, we meet with them as street food vendors, and then we give kind of education on how to handle your food product, how to produce under hygienic conditions to avoid contamination, how to supply your pastry product, including any other food product. So for the street food vendor, yes, we do a lot of public education through an umbrella body, the Traditional Caterers Association. Periodically, we meet them, and then we give them, all the necessary information regarding, safe handling of their food products.
Senior Regulatory Officer Edward Archer further adds the need for consumers to also be responsible for what they consume cannot also be overemphasized.
I also see a challenge with consumers, the attitude of, I can't be bothered. So the point is, consumers must also, admit to the fact that, okay, their health is in their hands. And so for me, if a food product is displayed and I see that it is not hygienically displayed, I'm not going to use my hard-earned money to buy it.
Meanwhile, the Food and Drugs Authority is expected to hold a sensitization workshop for traditional caterers and food vendors in some selected communities in Accra.
We'll stay on the subject of food. Now, Nigeria is battling with the spread of bird flu in its country, and Ghana has taken precautionary measures already, one of which is the ban on importation of poultry products from Ghana. Let's get detail of this from Dr. Hannah Bissell, who is Deputy Minister of Food and Agriculture in charge of the livestock. Thanks for joining us here, Dr. Bissell. Dr. Bissell.
Hello.
Thank you very much for your time here on the program. Now, tell us more about this ban.
There is an outbreak of bird flu in Nigeria, and so the proper thing that any country will do is to place a ban on any form of trading or exchange or any form of importation, of bird, that is poultry products, anything that has to do with feathers. And so that is what we have done for now. Today, the Veterinary Services Directorate, they will be contacting our Nigerian counterparts, and they will be informing us officially where they are, where they've got into. But the very important thing that we want to know from them is where they import their dairy chicks from. Because Nigeria as a country, they do not import poultry products. Whatever they consume in the country is produced in the country. And so what they do is to bring in some sort of day-old chicks. And if you are aware that somewhere in November, there was some sort of outbreak of bird flu in the Netherlands, in Germany, Belgium, the UK. So we in Ghana quickly placed a ban on any form of importation from these countries. So we want to find out if the day-old chicks, come from any of these countries. Then we will take further measures, as to what we've already taken when it comes to, the importation of day-old chicks and fertile eggs from some of these countries.
But are we banning specifically poultry products from Nigeria, the importation of those products?
In the first place, we don't really do trading with officially with Nigeria, not because there's any problem, but it's because our importers, they go to Europe and other countries. But we cannot say that 100%, no Ghanaian brings in birds or any product of that sort from Nigeria into Ghana. When there's an outbreak, what you do is you ban. You ban the products. If there's an outbreak of, let's say, swan fever, we ban, it will be banned. The transportation of these animals will be banned. So there is a ban. That is what we will do until, we are cleared of the situation and until we are sure that it is safe to do so. So that anybody coming in with any poultry products, through our borders can do so. But until then, we are going to strengthen our borders and make sure that we do not come in from Nigeria with these products. But it's also important to state that any country that has an outbreak, what they do is to form some sort of protective boundary or circle around the area where the outbreak is, because it will not be in their interest for movements of animals in and out of the affected area. So I'm aware, or I know, that Nigeria as a country will be taking these precautionary measures to make sure that there's not further spread. Because Nigeria produces a lot of poultry for local consumption, and I'm sure that they will do everything to make sure that their poultry industry is not affected.
Then you also mentioned earlier that you're focusing also from on where Nigeria gets its day-old chicks from. And you mentioned a number of countries now, and based on that, Ghana is also taking some precautionary measures. Does it only have to do with banning day-old chicks from those countries too, or with the poultry products that come from those countries as well?
Actually, when the outbreak happened in November, we did put a complete ban on all products, poultry products from these countries. So somewhere now with January, we did a precautionary lifting of the ban on the frozen products, because what we realized is that these breads or the products that are coming, they were not slaughtered during this period. Okay, some of them have been there about 6 months, 7 months. So it was okay to allow the frozen products in. But for anything that is live, that can carry live, microorganisms, we are not going to lift the ban until we have a certified, clearance from the OIE indicating to Ghana or to the world that these affected countries, they have been cleared of the bird flu. Then we'll be very comfortable trading with them. Some people complain that because of that it's affecting business, but it's going to be worse for us if we allow any of these products to come in, and then it affects our poultry industry. Government and the Poultry Farmers Association, we've embarked on the broiler revitalization program. We started in September, and so far, by the grace of God, we are doing very well. So we don't want anything that will come and then take us back, years back. So we want to be very careful in this situation.
So clearly, as at now, we are allowing the importation of frozen poultry products from these countries you have mentioned.
No, I mean, it's when I say precautionary, we are cautiously doing it because we do a lot of studies, documents to find out best product when it was slaughtered. Anything from November coming is not allowed in Ghana.
I see. Take us through these countries again.
The Netherlands, the UK, Germany, and then we have Belgium.
Is it affecting intra-trade in any way because we banned poultry, certain day-old chicks first of all, and being very cautious about the importation of frozen poultry from those countries?
You say it's affecting what?
Is it affecting relations in terms of trade in any way because of the decision we've taken?
Oh no, definitely when you do that, it's gonna affect, the producers in these countries and in those countries, and of course those who are also importing from this country and selling it to our farmers. But it's the norm that every country does. Ghana beef cannot go to a lot of countries because of foot and mouth disease. And there's nothing we can do about it. It's their right to regulate and make sure that some sort of diseases do not come into their country through importation.
Well.
What we're encouraging our farmers to do right now is to strengthen their biosecurity system and also to look at our local hatcheries. A lot of farmers have parent stock. A lot of farmers are hatching. We should start looking at our local hatcheries and then fall on our local hatcheries for now until we are clear by the OIE that we can, get birds from these countries. We're also trying to revive our hatcheries to make sure that we have a lot of local production of the old chicks.
But essentially, how are we ensuring that this ban is being effected?
Because all our directors, they are in place. No day chick. We don't even give the permit. We are not given it, so you can't import it. And if you should smuggle it through the airport, you are definitely not going to clear them. They will be destroyed upon arrival.
But the situation wouldn't be the same if anybody is smuggling it from Nigeria.
Well, the situation wouldn't be the same, but our borders, the only way the person can get through is to go through the very bushes. But I can trust you that if you go through all those situations through the bush, you're not going to arrive in Ghana with any live bird.
Very well.
You lose them before you get in.
How abreast do you think our local farmers are with the disease itself, so they could spot it if they found any of their poultry infected?
Well, I'm not too sure, in percentage terms, how many of our farmers involved in poultry, have the knowledge of the bird flu and what to do. But what we are advising now, one, is to, tighten their biosecurity system. You don't allow strangers onto your farms. You make sure that your disinfection pens are good and correct. If you see any form of death on your farm, you should quickly call a vet.
Very well. Thank you.
Do not try and manipulate them yourself.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bissell. Dr. Hannah Bissell is Deputy Minister of Food and Agriculture in charge of livestock. Let's go up north to the northern region, specifically Tamale, where a fire scorched the Tamale Teaching Hospital Medical Laboratory store. Well, my colleague Hashmin Mohammed is there for us. He's joined me over the telephone with some detail. Hello, Hashmin. I think we have lost him, but earlier on News Desk, I spoke with the Northern Regional Chief Fire Officer, Assistant Chief Fire Officer Douglas Koyere. Well, now, we'll bring you that story pretty shortly. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Well, now, the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security is calling for the withdrawal of the Petroleum Exploration and Production Bill currently being considered by Parliament. The bill, which will regulate the upstream oil and gas sector, was tabled before Parliament earlier last year for consideration. The think tank, however, says the bill in its current state is seriously flawed and grossly unfair, and therefore the need for its revision before it is passed into law in Ghana.
The Ghana Institute of Governance and Security cites the current hybrid system being used, which the draft bill seeks to consolidate into law, as being at the heart of the country's current economic crisis.
Now, the foreign oil companies are contractors made away with $9.953 billion, representing 79.5% in the name of investment under the current prevailing system, the modern concession. Lost over $3 billion operating under this hybrid system as at 30th September 2014. This trend will remain forever and extended to other fields adopting the modern concession with little significant change.
The Institute, at a news conference in Accra, called for the immediate withdrawal of the draft bill and urged the TUC, religious bodies and the general public to support their cause.
We humbly appeal to the President to withdraw the bill. As a matter of urgency, invite immediately an independent international expert in these matters to review the draft bill to reflect production sharing agreement physical provisions. Information and data available to us indicate Ghana could earn between 60 billion and 80 billion from the Jubilee fields adopting the pure production sharing agreement, as against the 20.269 billion and then 19.39 billion estimated by the IMF and the World Bank respectively.
They also call for the immediate review of all contracts and agreements entered into and approved by Parliament under the current circumstances and charge the legal arm to take the matter up in the Supreme Court.
We call upon and appeal to the legal luminaries and public interest lawyers of the Ghana Bar Association to proceed to the Supreme Court to test the sanctity of these agreements and contracts in the interest of the present as well as the future generations of Ghana. We also request a review of all existing contracts and agreements so far entered into by the independent international expert to reflect production sharing fiscal regime.
There have been similar calls by other think tanks for the withdrawal of the draft Petroleum Exploration and Production Bill 2014 over the vast discretionary powers given the sector minister. Parliament is expected to pass the draft bill when it resumes on February 3.
You're watching News Today. There's more to come. Don't go away. For the hour, find more news on manjaonline.com. I am very much grateful for your company. Thank you very much. My name is Kimini Nyamani Amano. Have a good day.